Well, President Joe Biden says he's cutting his international trip short to try again to find some commonality with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and other congressional leaders regarding the debt ceiling limit. In fact, just over an hour ago, the president announced he is abbreviating that visit to Asia for a G7 meeting to return to the U.S. to discuss a deal. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says she's used every option to keep paying bills, but June 1st is the, quote, drop-dead date. Now it's up to the country's leaders to find a compromise. And let's talk about how this debt ceiling affects you and how we got here. I asked CEO of Oxygen Financial, Ted Jenkins, about both of those things. So first, when we're talking about this massive amount of debt in the trillions of dollars, how did that happen? Well, the numbers that Ted quotes are pretty significant. They're jolting, in fact. I asked him how much COVID-19 could be to blame for this. He reminded me that the U.S. printed an enormous amount of money to keep going during the pandemic.
It definitely exacerbated the problem because we printed $5 or $6 trillion of money. And just like people having credit cards at home, if you have $5,000 of debt, yes, it's a lot of interest. But if you had $500,000 of credit cards, you'd have that much more interest to pay off. And so right now, the number 4 line item on our federal budget is the net interest on the debt. A lot of people don't know that, but that is the 4th biggest expense we have as a nation right now. After Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and defense, the 4th biggest line item on the federal budget every year, and growing, I might add, is the net interest on the debt. We don't really have a debt ceiling problem. We have a budget problem. This is like somebody at home maxing out all of their credit cards, and their only strategy is take out another credit card.
And when it comes to repercussions for all of us, for you, Ted says, get ready to pay more taxes.
I don't know how the government balances the federal budget without doing both, without raising taxes and also decreasing expenses. And that's where there's got to be some bipartisanship agreement here right now, is that it isn't going to, you can't cut enough expenses right now to meet the $1.4 trillion federal deficit that we're in every year. So it's got to be a combination of figuring out how to get revenue. The only way we get that is through taxes, and also decreasing expenses. And that's where our politicians need to be adults, because they're setting a very bad example for households right now.
Now, tomorrow, Ted breaks down what we can do right now to protect our finances and prepare for the recession so many experts are saying it is coming. He also outlines what would happen for all of us if the U.S. would default on their debt. He calls it, as do many others, catastrophic.